Hello and welcome back to another episode of the DIYGuy.net. Alright, today we're going to be showing you how to replace your front sway bar links on the Nissan Sentra. We're going to be using this '07 Nissan Sentra here. The sway bar links are on both sides of the car, passenger and driver side. They go from the strut to the sway bar and they tie the whole front end together. So we're going to be showing you how to replace those today. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is jack the car up. This is easy enough repair that you can do it out in your driveway or in your own garage. You're just going to need a jack, some jack stands, and a wheel chock, and a flat surface to jack it up so it can't roll. We have access to the lift, so we're going to use the lift and some air tools. But it'll be virtually the same thing you can do with hand tools, and it's pretty easy. So you should be able to complete this in your driveway. So what you want to do is jack the car up. If you're doing it in your driveway, you can do one side at a time. Since we have the lift, we'll do both sides at the same time. So we're going to jack it up, take the front wheels off so we can gain access to inside and actually get to the sway bar links. So if you're doing this out in the driveway, you're going to want to do this step first before you jack the car up. We're going to use a flat screwdriver or pry bar, get the wheel cap or hubcap off, and then we're going to go ahead and loosen all the lug nuts before you jack the car up, as if you did it in the air, if you're not using an air tool, you're going to spin the tire and you won't actually break the lug nuts free. So next, you can grab your pry bar and a 13/16 socket and go ahead and loosen the lug nuts. Alright, so once we get the wheel off, we can locate our sway bar link, or front stabilizing link. It's right here is the nut. It's got the knuckle on the back, this thin rod, the knuckle, and a nut on that side. Now it's a good idea to spray this with some penetrating oil, let it sit for a bit. It'll make it a little easier to remove as it catches all the road grime and sometimes they're rusted in there and hard to remove. Alright, so to remove this, you're going to need to put a wrench on the back side. On this particular one, it's going to be a 3/4. And then we need to use our breaker bar and a socket to break this loose, or our air ratchet. And that socket size is going to be an 11/16 on this particular one. So you're going to slide your wrench in the backside, get it down there, slide your socket on, use your breaker bar and break it loose. We're going to use our air ratchet and break it loose. On the backside, so to show you what I mean, here's our new one. This is what it looks like coming through. So we have that nut on the backside of that plate, and then the nut on the outside. So you want to stick your wrench on there, get it on there good. Put your socket out here in your breaker bar and break it loose. So once you get that nut removed, you can push it out, let it swing down, and then we'll go have to do the same thing on the bottom one. Hold the inside nut, turn the outside. Alright, so now with this bottom one, it may be easier. It's hard to see. But if you put your socket on an extension, you can go actually underneath the engine cradle and come right across, and it'll make it a lot easier on yourself. Alright, so we got our old one out. Here's the bottom threads. As you can see, we messed up most of them trying to get it out. The reason we replaced this one is because that top boot was ripped. As you can see, it's got a lot of sand in it and it's very hard to move. So we're going to go ahead and open our new one. So we got our new one. These nuts on the inside and outside may be different depending on the manufacturer, or whether you go OEM or whether you go with an aftermarket one. So in this case, this is going to be a 20mm nut now, and our new outside nut is going to be a 19. You want to put some anti-seize on this, so in case you ever do have to change it again, it'll make it a little bit easier. So go ahead and slide it in. There is no top or bottom, it's the same. Once you get the bottom in, go ahead and grab your nut, run it down finger tight. Alright, so now we got the bottom done, we can go ahead and do the top. We'll bend it back, align the hole, slide it through, start our nut. Run it all the way down, finger tight. Alright, so now that we have the bottom and top bolt or nut run down finger tight, we can go ahead and grab our wrench, put it on the back side, and our socket, and tighten the outside. In this case, it's going to be a 20 millimeter on the inside and a 19 millimeter socket. Once you got the top side tightened, we can go ahead and tighten the lower side. Alright, so we finished tightening our top nut and our bottom nut, so that's it for installing the sway bar link on the passenger side. You want to do these in pairs, just like shocks and struts. They were put in the same time, they wear the same. So if one's bad, the other one's not going to be too far behind, unless you happen to rip the boot and it causes it to fail prematurely. But just install them in pairs, they're not that expensive. The driver's side will be the exact same thing as the passenger side, it's just a mirror. So do the same steps and you can replace that one. I won't show you just because it is the exact same thing. So we're done on the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and reinstall our wheel, torque our lug nuts, and put on the hubcap. So once you got the lug nut started, you want to run them down pretty much hand tight. That way you can, when you set the car on the ground, then you can torque them. Alright, now that we have them hand tight, we'll go ahead and lower the car and then we can torque them. So once you get the car on the ground, take your torque wrench, set it to your desired torque, check your owner's manual. Each car is a little bit different. Go ahead and put our socket on, torque them down. Make sure you do it in a crisscross pattern. Double check them. Alright, now that we have it torqued down properly, we can go ahead and reinstall the hubcap if you have them. There's a notch somewhere in the hubcap, as you'll see in this one here. That goes around your valve stem. So you're going to find your valve stem and line that notch up with the valve stem. Nice and tight. So with the lug nuts tight and the hubcap reinstalled, that's it. We just showed you how to replace your front end sway bar links on a Nissan Sentra. Thanks for watching another episode of the DIYguy.net. If you just finished building you the subscribe button, click that to get the latest DIY fixes delivered right to you. If you just finished building you the what's next button, you can click that and we'll help you figure out what you want to fix next. You can also click the link in the description which takes you to our website for a full write-up.